Welcome back to the Artefactors Union. I am your host, and formerly, Douglas Scoundrels. Today, we are assembling the Seeking the Blade box for the Ten Thunders, Resurrectionists, and Outcasts. Factions, bleh. Box contains 3 minis, as these title boxes often do. We have Yanlo, the Spirit Walker, even though he doesn't do any walking. Then Kenshiro, the Tactician, the shared model between the two keywords. And the Victoria Chambers Twin Blades, or as I think we should all refer to it as, Victoria's Chambers. Anyways, this is the Ancestor/Retainer keyword, hence Yanlo, and the Mercenary keyword, hence the Victorias. This is the artwork. On the back, we have some lovely renders. These models are pretty gorgeous. I guess Kenshiro's kind of meh, but they're quite exciting, dynamic poses. So, let's go ahead and start with Yanlo, then Kenshiro, then Victoria, but let's look at the sprues first. Here we are with the sprues. Kenshiro's on his own thing, being the little guy. Victoria's up here, you can tell by the big swooshy slashing effect and the sword, and then Yanlo on the bottom. So let's go ahead and get started with Yanlo. Alright, here's Yanlo, the Spirit Walker's sprue. We've got a base, which is nice. We'll go ahead and add this magical effect to the base, and then we can build the majority of the body. Here's part of the body, and I think this is also part of his robe. We've got an arm, a hand, 2 halves of the head, 1, 2, which includes his right hand, I believe. Once we've attached all that, including this extra little sashy bit on his front, then we can build the umbrella. This will glue into its back, and then the actual umbrella hood part is in 3 pieces. We'll combine them together and then attach that to that. And once he's all done, then we'll grab this extra magical effect, which also connects to the base. And I'm not sure if it connects to him at all, but it's probably a good spot to do the last thing, because it's not needed anywhere else. So let's look at the instructions, then get started with the base and this magical effect. Something of important note is that these little pegs are supposed to be a part of the bit. Don't chop them off, because they slot into the holes on the actual base. Alright, here's our base, and the magical effect is going to fit right onto those 2 pegs, leaving this last one for the magic effect later. So, glue them now. Alright, we're effectively looking at the back of the mini. So next is going to be the body and this extra flap of cloth right here. Let's go ahead and do that flap of cloth first. Which is going to be right here. And then we'll add the body there, which is B9. I forgot sometimes these are labeled, so let's do B1 and then B9. Before B1, after B1. Right, now let's do B9. Just going to fit over this entire gap. Kind of like that. Let's look at our seam. Everything's great. Next is going to be B5, this extra little sashy bit that goes right in there. Alright, make sure you dry fit it, because I accidentally put it in upside down. Alright, so now let's do B6, which is our right arm sleeve. Oops. The arm's in. Now let's do B3, the right hand, which will go right there. Cool. He's got a hand. Alright, next we will construct the head, adding B10 onto B2. It actually looks like we can just shove B2 right here on the next stump. So it's just gonna fit nicely in there, like that. Yeah, whatever. Alright, there we go. Excuse me. Now let's do the head. Okay. Make sure to attach the wrist to the sleeve of the left arm, right there. The head will fit solidly where it is, but this will be a little wiggly, so just get it to sit where it looks good. Now let's go ahead and jam the back of the umbrella into his back, which is B3 13, the connection point being on this side. Alright, pole's jammed in there. Not sure exactly how he's holding on to it. David Powers, perhaps. Alright, let's see. Our last three pieces that matter, really. Going to be B4, B7, and B8. Let's grab... Sure. We'll grab B7, B8, and then B4. Just randomly picking. Okay, B7. You can see the tassels are all going to our right. We're going to add a B8 here, which is one where the tassels are sort of all flowing away from the umbrella. Alright, there we go. Our last bit, B4, the one with the most of the tassels going one way and one of the tassels going the other way, is going to fit in our last spot. Okay, that is what it looks like from the top. That is what it looks like from the bottom. Yeah, shoot more of here. That's how I was holding it from the bottom. And I believe this is a semicircle connection. If we look down on top of the umbrella, there is, yeah, you can see the flat side on the connection point. So, go something maybe like that. He says as though he has it on camera. Anyway, I'll get it figured out. Alright, that is our umbrella. Now our last big magical bit is going to glue right in there. It also has a nice peg connection point. Alright, that's it attached to the base. How it looks from the back side. And yeah, it really doesn't touch him at all. So now he's done. Let's get him on a 40 mil. Yan Lo, Spirit Walker, is completed. Very pretty model and not too difficult to assemble. I'd say the hardest parts for putting them together would be the umbrella. Yeah, just getting the top of it jammed onto the shaft, we'll say that's the hardest part. But for something as complicated, I'm really happy with how easy it was to do. Right, let's move on. Kenshiro the Tactician are not very complicated model. Should go pretty quick. Grab a B1, then we'll add the magical effect on the back of him, B4, followed by the last little magical flame thing, B6, and then we will add the fan and the hand holding the fan to his tummy, followed by the arm which attaches to his shoulder, and the hand fan hand, B3, and finish up with the head, B2. Let's look at the instructions. B1 the body, and now let's add B4, the magical effect / base down here. That's what it looks like. Flip it back over. B6 going to fit right in there. That's what it looks like. Our fan hand, B5, is going to glue right here. The fan will be facing to his right and kind of downward. And that's how it fits. It might be a little wiggly. We'll get it sorted when we put the left arm on, but as you can see, it'd be kind of weird to get it on through the left arm in that space. So let's do left arm B2 next, or B3 next. And there we go. Yeah. Glad I did the fan first, although you could probably combine the fan bit and the arm bit together and then do the whole thing onto the body. But anyways, let's do our last bit, B2, which is the head. Gonna fit right in there. Alright, he's all done. Let's put him on a base. Kenshiro, the Tactician, is completed. Fairly easy model overall. Hardest part would be the fan hand, getting it aligned with the left arm. That's a bit of a stretch. I really don't have anything else to say. It was also quite simple. Let's hope that transfers over to the last one, but I don't think it will. Right, moving on. Alright, Victoria Chambers Twin Blades. We are going to build each Victoria separately and then add them to the big swooshy effect. As you can see, we've got one Victoria's foot, that's on the ground, and the other Victoria's arm and sword, who is jumping through the air. So let's do the ground Victoria first. So we'd start with A14, the majority of the body, then do A15, the crotch flap. Her one left leg is going to be A2, and then we will do her back, A13, her outstretched arm, which is the one with the armor, so A4, and finish with her hair, which I think is A5, kind of hard to tell. And then we'll go over the bits for the other Vic after we're done with that. Let's look at the instructions, then grab A14 and A15. I forgot about the back flap that's on her, so we'll get to that soon. But first, here's A14. A15 is going to fit right in there. There's her flap. Now let's do A2, the left leg. We're not going to do A2 because that is too wiggly of a connection, and I don't want it to cure and then find out that she won't actually slot into her foot on the big swooshy effect. So we will do that last, right before we attach her to that effect. So instead, we're going to go to her back and grab A10, which is going to be the back flap here. All right. It's A10, now A13, her back, right arm, and sword. Yeah, seam looks decent. So now we can do A4, the right arm, the one with the armor. Okay. A5, the hair. Last bit besides the leg. Going back here. All right. There's her hair. Now let's cut out A16, and then we'll add the right leg and immediately glue that to A16. I am quite silly, this is the left leg, but that's in. Now we are going to attach it to her foot that's on this effect. In fact, let's also attach him to a base while we're at it. Focus. There we go, there's the foot. Okay. Here she is attached. I think this is a pretty good spot for her right foot. It allowed me to sort of twist the leg into a good position where the seam at the thigh and the seam at the ankle both looked pretty decent. So we're going to call her good, set them down, and then we'll go ahead and work on our other Victoria, the rest of these bits. Alright, our second Victoria will go as such. Grab A8, the body, do A9, the left leg, A3, the right leg, A7, the back flap, then A11, the crotch flap. After that, we'll do A1, her back and shoulders, A12, I think that's A12, the right arm, yep, and then finish with A6, her head, and then we will attach her right leg and her shoulder to the magical effect. All right, so A8 and A9 first. Okay, here's A8, and actually we're going to do the back flap A7 first, which is going to go right along there and will help form our connection point for the left leg. There is our connection, and you can see I did install the left leg after that, but I then realized that we needed to do the crotch flap before we put in the left leg. So instead of A9, we're going to do A11, which will actually cover basically across her entire waist, hips here, and then start flowing back this way. So go ahead and put that in now. Yeah, with how the leg was, that would be nearly impossible to do if we put the left leg in. So that's it for the flaps. Hooray. Now we can finally do A9, the left leg. Alright. Left leg is in. Next will be A3, the right leg. This one is a little wobbly and also a connection point like the leg we did on the first Vic. However, we only have 3 bits left, and this one is more solid than that other leg, so I feel pretty confident we can always nudge it into place if we need to. So anyways, let's go ahead and hurry up. We'll do her shoulders next, and which is going to fit right in there, and that is A1. The flap got a little bit in the way, but nothing a little bit of poking couldn't fix. Alright, now her right arm, which is going to be A12. Okay. Let's do the hair, our last bit, A6. And there's her hair. Okay. This nub of an arm is going to fit into the sleeve of this arm holding the sword, and you see this one singular hole down here that is going to attach to her right leg on this nub. Alright. And honestly, you could probably glue her, at least with the angle I have this Vic, you can glue her left foot onto the back flap of that Vic if you want to. Yours might not line up quite like that, but I'd say they're good. Let's call them done. Victoria Chambers Twin Blades is done. Fairly difficult and complex model. The hardest part for me, specifically, the stupid thing would load, is one, the left leg on the first Vic, the standing Vic, trying to get that angle correct, and so that she would fit flat-footed on the base. And then the other hard part being realizing I needed to do the crotch flap on the jumping Vic before her left leg, or that I needed to do the back flap before her left leg. That order is important, and it took me a while to figure it out. So at least that one you don't have to worry about. Just the left leg on the standing Vic. Alright, they're done. Let's look at the whole box. The Seeking the Blade box is done, containing Yanlo Spirit Walker, Kenshiro the Tactician, and Victoria Chambers Twin Blades. The difficult parts of this build were mostly residing in the Victorias, although Kenshiro's left arm was a bit of a honorable mention, as well as figuring out the umbrella on Yanlo. Overall, Yanlo was quite simple compared to the Victorias, though. Really was them. They're the hardest part of this, but goodness, they are gorgeous models, all three of them, but especially the Vics. Anyways, I've been your foreman, Douglas Scoundrels, helping you build a better Malifaux. Have a good evening, or morning, or night, or whatever. I'm gonna go.